tax cut.
Tax cut.
Tax cuts.
That is a tax which will not go up.
One big issue. For some, national insurance top of the list of tax cuts.
I didn't vote for the national insurance rise, and others are now joining me on that platform, and I'm very pleased to see it, because what we need is not a tax on growth, but a growing economy.
Morning, Mr. Javid.
Sajid Javid is also pledging to axe the tax rise, a change brought in to fund health services that he backed in April when he was Health Secretary.
And this levy, the way it's being raised is the top 15% of earners will pay almost 50%. And I think it's the right way to do this.
Today, a different tune.
My job as Health Secretary was to make sure that we had the resources to meet the promises we made on healthcare and social care. My job was not to decide how to raise it, and that is a tough decision, I respect that. But with the current fiscal situation, I believe that we can afford to scrap the levy and still fund all of that increase that was promised.
Another former Health Secretary, while promising business tax cuts, is not going as far.
I'm not promising some of the tax cuts that other people have promised. I do think the NHS needs the $12 billion a year that we're getting from the health and social care levy, much as I dislike having to pay it.
Arguments about tax are never hard to find in Westminster, but there's a reason why they're flaring now.
This tax bidding war is being driven by the big irony in Conservative Party politics right now. The current government has put up the tax burden to its highest level in over 70 years, while simultaneously claiming it's a tax-cutting party. The candidates right now are trying to square that circle, but what might be popular for Tory MPs and members might be less palatable for others.
At a time of rising prices, pay restraint and NHS backlogs, experts say there needs to be clarity on how tax cuts may impact government spending.
It is quite something to be focusing on the tax cuts rather than potential spending increases, and I guess that's a very strong political message that's coming out of this leadership election. But I think the key here is if you are going to be promising tax cuts, you really do need to be clear what it is that you're intending to change, which means that you can deliver the public services that you say you're going to deliver with less money.
One leadership contender saying he would make savings to fund tax cuts.
I would certainly look to reduce the cost of doing government. I think that's really important.
So you'd sack civil servants?
Well, you partly do this just through attrition, of course. And sacking sounds very, very, very harsh, but you simply stop employing people in posts. You allow the thing to come down.
With a crowded field, senior Tories will meet tomorrow to set the timetable for this leadership election. A wide-open race, today focused on a narrow set of issues. Rob Powell, Sky News in Westminster.